So first up to take the award and induction for the top 1960s male skateboarder is a man who is considered by many as one of the first surf skaters and master surfboard shapers and designers. He was also one of the first professional skateboarders competing, judging, announcing both freestyle and slalom competitions up and down the California coast in the 1960s and early 70s. And like many of the early California surfers of the 1960s, Mr. Skip Frye was instrumental in helping sidewalk surfing to become a household word. And in doing so, he became a legend, not only in surfing, but also in the skateboarding world. To induct Skip Frye into the 2016 Skateboarding Hall of Fame is Miss Debbie Gordon of GNS Surf and Skateboards.
All right.
Debbie Gordon.
Okay, wow, this is different up here. Hey, everyone. I was told to make sure I knew what I was going to say, and that's polite for writing it down and having it right on this piece of paper in front of me. I'm both humbled and honored to have been asked to make this introduction. If you don't know Skip, I'll try to let you know a little bit about some of who he is. My dad, Larry Gordon, absolutely loved Skip, and he valued his ideas for design, his friendship, his passion for surfing from the early days of the 60s until the end. And as many of you know, my dad had Parkinson's, and in the later stages of the disease, Skip really stepped in to be an encouragement to me and my family. And I've experienced Skip as part of my life while growing up. I've found him to be a craftsman myself. I've seen him as a talented waterman, an athlete, and a humble man who has contributed a lot to the surf and skate industry, and he's still contributing. The 60s were all about surfing, and when there wasn't a swell, all the surfers were looking for something to do. And I'll tell you a little background here. My grandfather, George Gordon, had invented a composite material for the bow industry in San Diego, archery industry. And it was a composite material made of unidirectional, pre-pregged epoxy fiberglass known as Bow Tough. And in the early 60s, Bow Tough scraps were rescued from the dumpster of my grandfather's business, and they were laminated and cut out into skateboard shape at the GNS surfboard factory. And the idea of creating a skateboard that felt like the weighting and unweighting, the carving and reflex of surfing was put into motion. The earliest Fiberflex was born and called the Surf Skate by Gordon and Smith. It was the only flexible skateboard of its kind at that time that I know of. And most of the Gordon and Smith surf team, which included Skip, were hooked and started skating when the surf wasn't good enough. The Gordon and Smith surf skate team participated in the 1965 International Skateboard Championships in the May of 1965, and I still have a second place trophy for our team in that event in our archives. Other than that, skateboarding had a quick stint in the 60s, but its ties to surfing were undeniable, and a foundation for skateboarding was created. Fast forward to 2007, I approached Skip to see if I could have permission to use a photo of him from the 60s. He was slalom skating, and he called me right back and said it was really amazing timing that I had reached out to him, because he had just put together a skateboard and had been riding it all weekend long and was totally addicted again. Skip was all in and excited, and he wanted to make a model with Fiberflex and had some ideas. So we worked together to produce the Skip Frye Perpetual Motion Egg. And this wasn't a reissue of an old model. You know, that's when everybody started doing the reissues and stuff. We could have done a surf skate from 1964, but no, this was a new model. And the board was addicting, it was fun, and it was a cross-training tool for surfing. It's a wiggler. You know, you can't get it, you can get it pumping and carving and never have to put your foot down. It was 24 inches long and turned on a dime, and we sold out of every single one, and I still get calls every day for those, Skip. Skip is relevant no matter what decade you place him in, because his focus is all about surfing and skateboarding, and he surfs and skates every day when he's not shaping surfboards. Skip is 100% in the present. And when Laura Thornhill Caswell called me to ask me to do this, I thought, really, me? And I said, hey, wait, give me 24 hours. I have to think about this. And I made the decision to do it the way I know Skip would have, with his infamous Skip Frye coin flip. That way you leave it up to God, and I chose heads, flipped a quarter, and caught it, and guess what? It was heads. So if it was tails, I was going to call Dennis Schufelt and ask him to do it, because he introduces everybody, I know. But it was heads, and I am totally honored to introduce you to your 1960s inductee, Skip Frye. Come on up, Skip.
Wow. I don't really know what to say, you know. It's totally floored that I'd even be here. I mean, I've never even done a kick turn. I've never even been up the side of a pool. Oh, the hook! No. But I love skateboarding. I've been up and down with it through the years. And the main last year, what really got me back into it was having trouble getting to my feet when I was surfing, because when you get to a certain age, getting from prone position up to your feet, your legs start to go and your core body gets weakened. And I thought, I gotta do something, so I rode a bike, and then I broke out all my old skateboards. And there was one board in there. It wasn't a Fiberflex, but it was a Carver. And the Carver got ridden. It's actually introduced to me by one of my best friends and the president of our little group, Massa Rogers. And another friend of mine, a young French guy who was out here, Stefan, he was so hooked on it that he went down to the parking lot at Tourmaline and found a guy with a Carver and started motoring. He bought it and started motoring around the lot. So one Friday morning, I said, well, let me try it a little bit. So I did a little 5-minute warm-up in the lot and went out first wave right to my feet. Boing! So it's always been a cross-training thing, skateboarding with surfing. I know the best I ever did in competition or in surfing was when I was fully skateboarding. And it's just been part of my life, and I still don't know why I got picked here today. I mean, all the awesome, what they're doing in skateboards today, all you guys out there, I mean, it's totally mind-blowing. I can't even conceive of the stuff I watch and see in the movies and on TV. And you know, I'm not the oldest guy to skateboard. I'm 74 years old right now. I'll be 75 in September. But the oldest guy that I know that ever skateboarded was Doc Ball, a surf photographer, and he was 90 years old, a man of God. And there's a scripture that comes along with that. They that wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings as eagles. They will run and not be weary. They will walk and not faint. So, you know, it's not about me. You know, it's all the people that are around me. You know, any of us can't do it by ourselves. We've got to have the support and love and encouragement of all the people around us. And the people that came up here tonight with me, I have a crew that I surf with all the time. They encourage me all the time in my walk. And the main person who encourages me all the time is my wife, Donna. A tireless warrior in the political realm down in San Diego. I mean, she's the one that should be up here getting an award. It's not me. She's tirelessly fighting against the rich and the corrupt and the power-hungry people down there for the average, everyday people. And my Hall of Fame guy in the sport of skateboarding, the main guy and it's not about, you know, it's how you carry yourself, but the main guy that that I think is number one in the skateboarding world is Dennis Martinez. Because he takes the love of God, the gospel of Jesus Christ, and he goes down into the prisons, he goes into the ghetto, he goes to places that would terrify me, and he takes the love of God down there and wins souls and saves people. So thank you, Dennis, for what you're doing, for the wonderful example you are to the skateboarding world. I hope I can just be a little bit part of that. Thank you very much, and God bless everybody.
Good job, Skip. Give it up for Skip Frye, people. Thank you. Thank you, Debbie.